Roger.
Welcome everybody back to Card Clankers. In today's video, I'm going over the first leader for set 2 and going over what the best leader pairings are and who to avoid pairing it with. So today I have Bo-Katan. She is a aggression heroism leader. On the front side, she has action tap. If you attacked with a Mandalorian unit this phase, you deal 1 damage to a unit. Epic action, if you have 6 or more resources, you deploy her. Her leader unit side is a 4 powered, 7 life, pretty good. On attack, you may deal 1 damage to a unit. If you attacked with another Mandalorian unit this phase, you may deal 1 damage to a unit. So she's almost got a control type effect to her, dealing damage, pinging off shields and stuff like that. So like she could be a bit of a political tool. Like, oh yeah, I will ping off that shield if you can deal with this, or you can kind of like stack it up, just start adding up the damages. You could buff up somebody's grit unit. I've had that happen multiple times in our games. So it's pretty interesting. Because she is aggression heroism, most of her army is in the aggression heroism color. So we'll go over that next with her army. You have Ketsu Anyo, 2 cost, 3/2, with Saboteur, which is very vital in the Twin Suns format. When this unit deals combat damage to a base, you may defeat an upgrade that costs 2 or less. This next set is heavy on the upgrades, and with some big ones that give away bounties and whatnot. So that is a pretty big effect to be having in a control deck. Then you have Night Owl Skirmisher, 3 costs, 4/3. That's really good stats. With Smuggle, that costs, hard to see, but 5, and also is still aggression and heroism. No other text, so it's pretty much a skill list that you can charge if you've got better cards in your hand, and try to remember that it's in your resources and play it out later on if you've got nothing else better to do. And then you got Koshka Reeves. I hope I'm pronouncing that first name right. It's the character that Sasha Banks played and never appeared after like the one time. Or she at least didn't appear again in the follow-up season of Mandalorian. 4 cost, 4/5. Again, that's good value, just in power and attack, or in attack and HP. On attack, if this unit is upgraded, you may deal 2 damage to a ground unit. Depending on which set of colors you go into, you might go into a heavy build on upgrades in order to get more benefits. The Mandalorian packages kind of seem to have also a sub-theme of wanting to be upgraded, which is kind of like, upgrading your armor is how I kind of see it. Just like the Mando went from that cheap metal armor that he had in the beginning to eventually having Beskar armor. Then there's Clan Challengers. 5 cost, 3/6 with Raid 3. So essentially it will be a 6/6 when it attacks, and has Overrun, which is pretty good value. I mean, you're just going to run that if you're running Bo-Katan. And honestly, you might almost run this in a lot of other red decks, just because that's still good value. I mean, a 5 cost, 6/6 with Overwhelm, that's still pretty good. You can take care of something, again, control the board, while simultaneously dealing damage to the base. Of course, we've got the princess herself, Sabine Wren, or a fellow princess, I should say. While there are at least 3 aspects among other friendly units, this unit can't be attacked. Of course, we're all pretty familiar with Sabine Wren, 2 cost, 2/3, and on attack, you deal 1 base to a defender, or to the defender, or to a base. So again, she can help out with the trying to control the board. Disabling Fang Fighter, not really one that gets too much love, I think, in our decks. It pops up here or there. not one that I'm really been heavy on, but definitely I think is a shoe in to definitely be included in a Bo-Katan Twin Suns deck. It's a 3 cost, 3/2, 2 HP, a little rough. But the win plate effect, you may defeat an upgrade. Again, that's going to be huge with the upcoming set. And then you have one of the best skillless cards, I think, or colorless, not skillless, colorless cards. Um, and that's the Mandalorian Warrior, a 3 cost, 3/3, so solid. And then when played, you give an experience token to another Mandalorian unit. So definitely fits the Mandalorian synergy very well. Is colorless. I mean, if you're going to throw this into other decks, I don't really think that you will, but having a solid 3/3/3 body is pretty good overall. And then, of course, you got the staple event cards for Mandalorian. The 2 cost, this is the way card for Heroism. Search the top 8 cards of your deck for up to 2 Mandalorian cards and or upgrade cards, reveal them, and draw them. So effectively, you can get the upgrades that you need to try and gain more benefits off of some of these other cards, like Reeves, or you can just tutor up some Mandalorians. And then the Protector of the Throne, I was kind of iffy on this one because if you don't run in a heavy amount of upgrade package, you may not run him. If you do run him, it's just because you want to have enough Mandalorians to kind of keep the trigger of your leader going. Because obviously, if you don't hit Mandalorians, you're not going to really utilize your leader's abilities too well. So that's a pretty hit or miss on the Protector of the Throne. So the best leader pairings to me from set 1, I will go over like best leader pairings overall for all of them from set 2 once all the leaders are revealed. This is only for set 1 pairings. It's obviously Sabine Wren. She's a Mandalorian, so she benefits off of Bo-Katan and, deals damage to enemy bases. The only downside is that you would go into double red. So you would lose out, but right now, yellow and green, I don't even think that there is a yellow Mandalorian card. And green has 1. So mainly your Mandalorian packages are in blue and red. So more than likely a Sabine Bo-Katan deck would probably be best with a blue base and go double red blue. And then you get access to aggression, you get access to Saw Gerrera just to add some stacksy effects on events and whatnot. So that way people can't really screw over your upgrade package or your Mandalorian package. And Jen Erso, I'm sure, is a surprise to see here, especially since I stated that I thought that she was one of the worst leaders in Twin Suns. But here, I think these two might gel together. The downside is obviously is that Jen is yellow or cunning, so you're not going to get access to many Mandalorians. So again, you may need to pivot into blue, a blue base, and get access to the best, the blue Mandalorian heroism cards. But having access to cunning, you're going to get more control effects. You're going to be able to control the board. Like with Jyn Erso, you are going for the ultimate control duo, in my opinion, for the heroism side. With Jyn having the -1, and then you got Bo-Katan being able to deal 1 damage. So you're going to be able to ping a lot of things, take a little bit of less damage back from your opponent's stuff, and then again having access to red, to aggression, vigilance, and cunning. You're going to just ultimately control the board as best as you can. So Jyn Erso's a reach. I think that that's just massive board control potential and probably the best board control in the heroism side. Usually it's a villainy thing to be board control, so I think this is the best matchup for best board control for heroism. Other good pairings, pretty much any of the blue leaders from set 1, and it's pretty obvious. Luke gives out a shield so you can protect your Mandalorians. Chirrut gives a +2 buff to make it harder for your Mandalorians to die. Plus, Tourette is just so good, especially if you're running an upgrade package. Tourette is amazing. Um, and it's pretty funny. That's why I got this Foundling card here, because I think it would just be funny to attach this Foundling card on Tourette, thus making him a Mandalorian and giving him a +1/+1 buff. So I think that's just going to be a pretty funny interaction there. Obviously, hitting this one copy of Foundling for Tourette is probably not going to happen that often, but still hilarious to think about. Chewbacca, you're on like a relatively small curve, I think. Um, with Bo-Katan and the Mandalorians, somewhat. So I think Chewbacca would be pretty all right here. Also providing you a Sentinel on the back end. With having access to red from Bo and blue from Chewbacca, you could make your base green just to give you a little bit more Sentinels and whatnot, and giving you a little bit of a lower curve for stuff to play. And just to show off some of the other blue Mandalorian stuff that you would really kind of want, the Razor Crest, 4 cost 3/4, restore 2 when played. You may return an upgrade from your discard pile to your hand. So again, it goes with the whole, upgrade theme, sub theme to the Mandalorian packages. The Mandalorian himself, 6 cost, 5/6 with Sentinel. Again, provides potential more Sentinel synergies if you wish to go that route. And also, when it is played, you heal all damage from a unit that costs 2 or less and give 2 shield tokens to it. Grogu, if you're in yellow, obviously you can go with Grogu, because I believe Grogu is a cunning heroism and not just a straight heroism. But you have plenty of 2 cost targets that you could give the shield tokens to, I'm sure. So I mean, I still think that you would still run it just because it's a Sentinel with 6 HP. And again, Luke is there for just shields. So like obviously, if you're at 7 or if Luke is out at 6, you could deploy Luke. You could play the Mandalorian. You could swing with Luke. Give the Mandalorian a shield. Give him some more added protection on top of his Sentinel ability. I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff that you could do with pairing Bo-Katan with a blue. And I don't think you go wrong. Han's only here because of the ramping. You get Bo-Katan out 1 turn sooner. You get Han out 1 turn sooner. You can never go wrong with a good pairing with Han. Now, the worst leader to be pairing Bo-Katan with, to me, is Leia Organa. And there's only one reason why, and it's the fact that she wants rebels. And most of the Mandalorians are not rebels. So you'd be building like half a deck Mandalorian, the other half rebels. So you're going to potentially, hit a lot of rebels. You're going to shut off your leader's Bo-Katan's ability to utilize, or you're going to hit more Mandalorians than rebels and make Leia Organa's ability pretty much irrelevant. Obviously, if you still wanted to pair the two together, because she comes out on 5 and is a 4/6 body when she attacks, 3/6 if she's not. And it does allow you to still get that extra attack off in a row with another rebel unit. So I mean, you could try it. I wouldn't advise it. I think that you're gonna hurt the deck with the build, and it's not gonna synergize correctly as much as you would like it to. And I mean, you could also include Hera on this list, but as it stands right now, Hera's just by far the worst leader for Twin Suns, because you just don't have any Spectres, like a whole lot of them, and you just don't. There's just no point in including her on the list, because she's just the worst. Until more Spectre cards come out, and it makes her better, then maybe. But as it stands right now, like, you don't even have a yellow, red, blue. There's not even a green Spectre in the card game. So the card pool for Hera's to maximize off of Hera's ability is low. I mean, the only way that you would run Hera is for her ability on her leader unit side to, when she attacks, give a unique unit, another unique unit, an experience token. So that is all for me for this video. So I hope everybody enjoyed this little set 1 leader pairings for Bo-Katan. I will be trying to do all the leaders for set 2 as they get spoiled, and then like I said, once all leaders have been spoiled, then I will go over best leader pairings for set 2 all across the board between each other and for set 1. So I thank everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see y'all around.